Hey, yeah, I know I said I'd drop another guy video last week, but I got busy and lazy, so no video. But I do have one today, and I think it's gonna be really helpful. I'm sure you know skilling gear and boosts cost money, a lot of money most of the time, and a lot of people can't afford to keep up with gear and rising skill item prices. This can all be solved with one thing, and that one thing is money. But of course, it isn't that simple. Grinding money in this game takes a lot of time and effort, but I'm here to give you tips to building large amounts of in-game wealth, and wealth that builds up over time regardless of whether you log in or not. This guide won't include your standard money makers because of how consistent they are currently. Alright, first method I want to talk about is spending as much time as you can grinding events. Unfortunately, events have been kind of infrequent lately, but when they do happen, they are undoubtedly the best money makers because people are constantly spending money on event boxes, hoping they drop something. Events have always been available to all levels of play, so everyone has a chance to earn billions of gold provided they grind hard enough. One tip I do have is to sell the loot box items earlier, because the prices will be inflated, and if you open you risk losing hundreds of millions that could have been made if you just sold the loot boxes. I've lost a ton of money that way, and I've learned my lesson. If you still wish to get the chase item from the event, you can buy near the end of the event with the money you gain from loot boxes because that's when it will be at its cheapest. Staying on the topic of events, if you're more focused on saving money for the long term, you can spend all of the money you gain during event on the loot box items because they would have dropped a lot near the end of the event. You can put these items in your bank and forget about them, and they'll grow in value constantly. Even if the item eventually drops in price, it always costs more than what you bought it for. Now, the same applies for most event items, but non-loot box items tend to drop more frequently and don't normally increase the price for a long time. With loot boxes, if they're open in large quantities, they will most likely go up in price because there's less in the market. Examples of loot box event items are Lucans, Lucky Eggs, and Praline boxes. Tip number 3 is kind of a short one because I basically brought it up previously, but it's grinding content updates early. Like events, when we get new content, prices on new resources are always inflated, especially for the first week. Depending on the content, prices will either drop dramatically or pretty slowly, so it's best to grind them as soon as possible because it's basically free money. The final tip I'd like to give is to invest in lollies. Lollies have been sitting at 1 mil plus each for a year or two now, but there have been times where it's went up by a full 500k or times where they've sat at 1.2 mil for a while and dropped to 1 mil, only to go up again later. These price changes can be kind of random at times and hard to predict, but there are times when lollies do drop to about 1 mil. This is probably the best time to buy them because they don't really get lower than that. And when we do have an event or a new cosmetic line drops, lolly prices end up going up by a decent amount of money near the start and only slowly go back to its stable price before the new cosmetic line. But by then you would have already sold all your lollies and made your profit. And yeah, that's pretty much most of what I want to share with y'all. Obviously there are more ways to make money, but these are the most effective for your time. Short video this time because I didn't want to yap for too long, but I hope you learned something from this because these are things that the top players have been doing for years. Before I end this video, I'd like to give a huge thanks to Pixavic for deciding to help me with my thumbnails. He's insane at his job and I'm happy he's doing this for me, so thanks again. And the final thing from me, I'm sure we've all struggled with learning a boss somewhere in our playtime. Knowing that, I've decided to make a dedicated boss guide series on every single boss starting from Wombat to Netherrax, and it'll cover everything there is to know about the boss and more. So yeah, watch out for that. As always, if you like the video, like and subscribe, helps me out a ton, and that's it from me. Peace.